Well, hello everybody. It's the Paul Mass Show. This is episode 18, and we're glad that you could come and join us today on that. We got a great interview coming up for you in just a moment. But before we get into that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. And you're always going to be notified whenever there's a new interview, so I hope you do that for us. And use the comment section. We'd love to hear from you there. And you can email us at paulmashtv, all one word, at gmail.com. And we would love to hear from you for a band or solo artist or maybe a tribute artist or whatever. And if you're a fan as well, we'd love to hear from you there. And you can go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/PaulMashTV, and feel free to like the page, inbox us, and comment and everything there. And if you missed any of that, don't worry about it. We have a closing credit screen with all that recap for you, so stick around for that. In just a moment, we're going to have Dan Schneid. He's from Corona, California, and he's a Dr. Phil tribute. And it was an honor talking to him, and you'll get to see that in a minute. But first, here's another quick word from Click Jam, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
We got history, got me feeling the nostalgia when you look at me, thinking about what could.
Well, hello, it's interview time as promised, and with us today we have Dan Schneid from Corona, California, and as you can tell, he's a Dr. Phil tribute, and we want to thank you for joining us, Dan.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time, and just don't forget, if there's an issue you need to discuss with me, we can discuss that after this interview. You're in a safe place.
Okay. How did that all start for you? I mean, have you noticed that you always look like Dr. Phil? Is that how it started? But tell us in your own words.
Well, I was working for Home Depot many years ago, and a friend of mine comes up and he goes, "Hey, David Letterman's in the store." And I went, "Really?" And the area that I managed the store at was a very affluent area, so it was very possible he could either have a house there or have a family member that did, which I found out later on his mom did. So I go down to the registers and I'm looking, and this guy is 100% dead on David Letterman. So I very casually walk up and I go, "Hi, how are you? You know, very nice to see you, and thank you for shopping in my store." He looks at me and he goes, "Wow, you know who you look like?" And I just looked at him. I'm like, "I look like me?" And he goes, "No, you look like Dr. Phil." Now, this is the scary part. I went, "Doctor who?" I had no idea who he was, never heard of him, nothing. And I'm going, wow, I have a doppelganger out there that looks just like me. And he goes, "You don't know who he is?" I went, "No." He gave me his phone number. He goes, "When you go home tonight, put on Dr. Phil, find it, and watch it." I said, "Okay, that's fine." Now, this is going back 12, 13 years. So I go home, put on Dr. Phil, and I looked at him. And I'll be honest with you, Mash, I got scared. This was the old, go back to the original time Dr. Phil, not the now where he's really wearing really nice suits. He's got his eyebrows trimmed. He's cleaned up. This is before he was unruly eyebrows. I mean, he looked like hell. And I'm looking at him going, "Oh, please, dear God, don't tell me I look like that." So I called up Greg, who is the Dave Shalhoub #1 impersonator in America. His name's Greg Shalhoub. So I called him up and I said, "Greg, I just watched it. What are you, nuts?" He goes, No. Grow your sideburns out," because my sideburns were pretty high. He goes, "Bush out your mustache," because I just had mine very neat and trimmed. He goes, "Just do that." I said, "Well, that's going to take a couple of weeks." He goes, "That's fine. Just do it." I said, "Fine." So it took me about 2-3 weeks, grew out my sideburns. With a mustache, like all guys know, it grows where it wants to grow. So you can't force it to grow higher. So what you have to do is to compensate is grow it a little bit lower to make it look bushier. So I grew it out. And then all of a sudden I noticed in the store, people are looking at me, giving me like double takes, like, "Okay, that looks like Dr. Phil." I didn't know. So I watched a couple of more episodes and I'm thinking about it. And me and him pretty much have the same mannerisms, the same, I'll say, politically correct, sarcastic manner, and kind of the same view. Call a spade a spade. It is what it is. Have a nice day. So Greg comes up on Wednesday and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing this weekend?" I said, "Nothing. I've got this weekend off." He goes, "Good. You and me, we're going to Las Vegas." I'm like, "All right, cool. We're going to gamble." He goes, No, we're going to a lookalike convention." So I looked at him and I said, "I'm sorry, we're going where?" He goes, "We're going to a lookalike. So you need to make some business cards. MASH, I had no idea how to make a business card. So what do? Run to Kinko's, talk to the kid behind the counter. How do I make a card? He goes, oh, get this, get that, do this, take a picture, put it on here, bring it back, print them out. I'm like, it's that easy. He goes, yeah. I said, all right, great. If you were to look at the very first business card I made, MASH, you would swear it was made by a 6th grader, and you got an F on it. It's a regular business card. I took a picture of me in a shirt with a tie. Behind me is a white linen a bedcloth, just a sheet for a background. That's it. On it, it says Dr. Phil. And then in real small, it says by Dan Schneid, and a couple of things that I do. So I made that. I got a hold of Dave or Greg. Friday morning, we get up, we take off, we go to Vegas. We go upstairs, we get in the room. He goes, okay, took a shower. I got dressed. He got dressed. I go, what do we do? He goes, now you just go downstairs and make like you're him. Walk around like you own the place. You know the answer to everything, and nothing's going to upset you. And I said, well, I can do that naturally. I don't have to look like him. And he goes, you got that part down pat. As far as the speaking part goes, you're going to have to, being raised on the East Coast and up north, I kind of tend to talk fast. Well, you understand, Dr. Phil has a little bit of an Oklahoma and a Texas type, accent, and he talks kind of slow. He really has to understand what he's saying. And that's the difference. And that's what I had to learn how to do. So we go downstairs, and all of a sudden, all these agents are looking, and they're coming over. Oh my God, you look great. Do you have a card? And I'm like, yeah, here you go. And he goes, oh, can you talk like him? I said, well, I'm going to work on that part. He goes, that's okay. Hang on, I got to get a picture of you. All these agents are taking pictures of me. I'm seeing people there at the Lookalike Convention that are blowing me away, MASH. When I tell you, I saw Richard Gere, who is actually, he was an underwear model in the UK, as well as over here. He drives one of those like 35-foot monster green machines on a farm. But he was the identical spitting image. And I'm looking at him going, hey, there's Richard Gere. Greg looks over and goes, no, that's Bob. Oh, okay. What about him? No, that's Jeff. And I'm looking at these lookalikes like, wow, these guys are dead on. I honestly never saw myself as that close of a dead on to Dr. Phil until I went on the Dr. Phil show. So when I went on the Dr. Phil show, I go walking in, and even in the line, people are like, oh my God, it's Dr. Phil. Oh, we love you. I got to take a picture. And of course, I'm playing it off. Okay, no problem. How you doing? Well, how are you doing today? You got any issues you want to discuss? It's okay. We can talk about it. People are just crying. So we're in the line. And if you've ever been to that show, you go in and out of lines before you actually get to the door where you go in. Over here, there's the stage door. Stage door opens up. Person looks around like this and then stares right at me. Turns around, goes back in the door. And I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't know. 2-3 minutes later, girl comes out. She doesn't even do the around. She's like looking right at me. Oh my God. Turns around, comes back. We're halfway through the line. This guy comes out, walks up to us, goes, excuse me, could you please come with me? All right, sure. Turns around, walks us right in. Then we go past everybody. We go past the room where you sign all your the paper that you have to sign that says you're not going to take any pictures or do anything. Comes right up and he goes, you need to sit right here. He sits us in the third section, second row from the front, second row from the right. So I've got like a dead on view of where Dr. Phil and whoever he's talking to are going to sit. And he goes, after the show, I want you to come back and talk to Dr. Phil. I'm like, all right, I think I might have time, kind of playing it off. So we're sitting there, we're doing our thing. He's talking to this wife about her daughter, and MASH, it was almost like a magic act. He's looking at her, directly looking at her, blinks his eyes, opens them up, doesn't move any of this, but his eyes are now directly looking at me. I'm looking at him because he was looking at the mother, the wife, and now all of a sudden he's dead on me. I'm dead on him. I'm like, I froze. I didn't know what to do. He's looking at me. Then all of a sudden, it was like he blinked and he went right back onto the wife. I was like, wow, that was good. So he gets done with the whole thing. He goes back to the dressing room. Everybody's getting ready to leave. The executive producer's assistant comes over. says, sir, you please come with me. I said, sure. We walked back in. I'm like, hey, how you doing? Shook my hand. He goes, oh my God, you look great. And I'm looking at this guy. This is my head. This is his head. The boy got a big old grape on his head. This is my hand. This is his hand. I'm like, I'm 6'2". He's 6'4". I felt small compared to him. His wife, Robin, sweetheart. Oh my God, you look great. Oh, you look awesome. Maybe I'll trade you in. I looked at her. I looked at him. I go, whoa, she's joking. She's just joking. It's okay. So he starts laughing. But we had a great conversation, the whole 9 yards. I've been on the show 3 times. Not on stage. Don't get me wrong. I have my own issues, but nothing I'm going to put out in front of America. But yeah, it just went on from there. And each year I kept going and going. And as I went to these conventions, I won the Mirror Image Award, which is the individual that looks most like the person he impersonates without doing anything. I wake up and I look like him. Or no. I wake up and he looks like me.
Well, that is quite a story there, Dan. I'm glad you shared that with us. So you actually did meet Dr. Phil when you were at the studio there.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, this is a picture that I took. I don't know if you can see that good enough.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I'm glad that he was honored to meet a lookalike, I guess.
Yeah. On that one right there, we kind of looked the same, and I looked at it more and more afterwards, and I don't know. Like I said, I see a resemblance, obviously, but people, even nowadays, if I get dressed up in a suit and I go to any function, people start whispering, and they're like, oh my, Dr. Phil's here. He's right over there. It's like, okay. I mean, I have fun with it too. Don't get me wrong, Mash. I have a blast with it. It's a lot of fun.
Well, if anybody wants to contact you in any way, shape, or form, tell us how we can contact you. We would love to hear that.
Well, if you got any issues and you really want to have them discussed, or if you just want me to mess with somebody, I can do that too. I can wish them a happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy don't call me anymore. I can do that too. Just shoot me an email at drphil927@aol.com, and I will definitely respond.
Okay. Well, everybody do that. I'm sure that he would love to do those things for you. And we're going to watch a short video here. This is you on Cameo, which is a website where not just necessarily celebrities, but tributes and other things, get you to pay money for their services. And then they can do just what he said, send a greeting to somebody or whatever. And it was a pretty cool video. And I know it doesn't really need setting up because it's very short, but we'll be watching that in just a moment. And but before we get into that, thank you so much, Dan, for being on the show. We would love to have you back sometime if you ever want to.
That'd be excellent. I appreciate it, Mash. And anytime you need the doctor, I'm here for you.
Okay. Well, here's Dr. Phil in action right here on, Dan is Dr. Phil in action, and we'll be right back, so don't go away.
I understand that there's issues out there, and y'all need to have a way to deliver that issue. Well, I'm here. Dr. Phil's here. We're here to do happy birthday, happy anniversary, happy anything. It's okay. You can't change what you don't know. And if you don't know it's your birthday, let Dr. Phil be the one to wish you a happy birthday. Everything you need. I'll serve papers via video. Anyway, this is Dr. Phil on Cameo. You call me. Let me know what I can do for you, because today's going to be a change of day in your life.